All right, Tim, it got announced just a week or two ago. Sting's last match is happening at Revolution 2024. His first match was Revolution 2021. Poetic ending. They brought Ric Flair in for the last run of Sting, which it was announced that Flair will be actively on AEW programming through March to be with Sting. Here's the question. What is Sting's last match, Tim?
That's a really good question. Before I get to that, um, I got a little emotional when the
Yeah,
Nature
that's
Boys
fine.
music hit this past week on Dynamite. I got emotional because I mean he is the Nature Boy, Ric Flair, and
Yes.
it was really great to see, especially with how things right now are kind of going for Sting. In the fact that last not this past week, but about 2 weeks ago when he initially announced his retirement tour or his retirement match,
Yeah.
you and I were kind of talking about the fact that the crowd really didn't
That pissed me
necessarily,
off. That pissed
yeah,
me
they didn't
off.
give him the respect that he deserved.
Dude, he's a legend. Dude, you've got John Cena in the ring announcing that he's going to be retiring. John Cena shouldn't have to tell you, hey, this is my moment that I'm trying to share with you. No, you don't fucking do that. Those fans were disrespectful and they should go. That pissed me off. This last week, though, much, much better. It was a
Oh
better
yeah.
crowd. It was a better crowd. The Flair thing was cool. I had a feeling that that's what the surprise was going to be. I don't know why. I just had a feeling it was going to be Flair. But Tim, I mean, the obvious choice for Sting's last match, I think, is Darby Allin.
Ooh,
The student versus
that
teacher, that's been discussed a lot, the Darby Allin match.
that would be a very good match.
The other
It would
match that's been
definitely be a passing of the torch, so to
it would.
speak.
I
You know
think
what I'm
if
saying?
I mean it obviously makes sense because Sting's been mentoring him. I would rather see Darby in a last match with maybe Jeff Hardy because I think that makes more sense. One person a lot of people discuss is MJF if he's still there because his contract's up on January 1st. If he's still there, MJF versus Sting. I think MJF's earned that match.
But why MJF?
MJF has been the one who, for one, I don't think anybody wants to see Moxley and Sting. I don't think anybody wants to see Jericho and Sting, even though we've never seen that match one on one. I think you want to see Sting in there with a younger guy who can go, but it can also work. It also works a slower style. I think that
Right.
MJF is the closest thing to a modern day Ric Flair as far as in the ring in AEW that we're ever going to see. There's not a lot of bells and whistles to him as far as his matches go. It's very basic, kind of like the Miz would be. I think that MJF would give Sting a good match to where Sting doesn't have to work at a high paced tempo. He can work at this pace and the speed that he's physically comfortable doing. MJF
Right.
would complement that. Darby would want to do just naturally a lot more of the faster high spots, suicide dives. Sting doesn't need that in his match. I think
Right.
MJF would be a good one, but let me throw this at you. Throw this just as a what if.
Okay.
I think Sting's last match should be with somebody from Sting's past, but somebody from Sting's past that is still able to go.
See, that's kind of what I was thinking.
So who is that?
Was I don't have anybody particular in mind.
Okay. Okay. Let me lay this out
Um,
to you. Go for it. Go for it.
no, I was just saying. I mean, again, with bringing back Ric Flair and everything. Um, I think it would be a great way to ride off into the sunset to drudge up some old rivalries and things
Yeah.
like that as Sting is making
Hmm.
his exit. As much as I would like to see him wrestle some younger talent, kind of like what you were saying, um, you know, if they were really trying to do a passing of the torch, that would be one thing. But no, I really like that theory of bringing back somebody from Sting's past, like you said, who can still go,
Mhm.
who it's going to mean a lot to Sting. It's going to mean a lot to the opponent,
Mhm.
and it's really going to be a great match.
What if you don't have to bring that person in? What if that person's already there?
Who
Okay, well, let me put it.
who do you have
Okay,
in
so
mind?
here's the thing. So anybody's last match that's on Sting's level, obviously they're going to be doing the favor. Sting's not going to win his last match because Sting, just like Undertaker's streak, Taker's streak, that was going to be his last match probably. Somebody goes over, celebrates, leaves. Sting's left in the ring, picks himself up, leaves his boots in the ring. Thank you, Sting. Thank you, Sting. Thank you, Sting. Poetic. Okay. A week or two or a month or so, at some point before Revolution, Sting calls out Darby Allin. Sting wants his last match to be with Darby Allin, but Darby doesn't want to do it, doesn't want to wrestle Sting. It's his teacher. He doesn't want to do it.
Right.
Cue any of these guys' music. Any of these guys comes out, and the promo is this simple. If Darby doesn't have the balls to do it, I'll put you out of your misery.
Any of
Samoa
the
Joe,
Oh, okay, here we go.
Samoa Joe,
TNA, good call.
Jay Lethal,
I'm assuming is that more Impact?
yeah, that's TNA. Jay Lethal.
Okay.
He's
Okay, okay,
there.
okay.
Here's one that people aren't thinking about. Jeff Jarrett.
That that would be that could be interesting.
Jeff Jarrett, and it could easily be Jeff and Jay. Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal against Sting and Darby. Flair's last match was a tag team match against Jeff Jarrett and Jay Lethal. Flair is in the corner of Sting. So
Oh,
it
I
could
hope that
easily
man don't
be.
get in the ring. I feel like he's
No, he
gonna break
shouldn't.
himself. He's gonna start
Dude, it's
strutting.
Flair. He's gonna do a spot. He's gonna do a spot. It's gonna happen. But think about that. Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett versus Sting and Darby. Jay Lethal or Jeff Jarrett versus Sting. Samoa Joe versus Sting. If they really want to get the heat, Christian versus Sting. Um, there's a lot of options, but it needs to, or MJF versus Sting. It needs to be somebody who they're going to strap the rocket ship to, or they have major plans for. That it will mean something if they beat Sting.
Right.
I mean, that's what I think.
No, I think that's a great theory. Um, I am more just dying with anticipation of what they're gonna do.
Mhm.
Um, just because I mean, again, when it comes to Sting, for me, I really didn't get a chance to watch him a whole lot growing up with the whole
Okay.
WCW.
Oh, see,
And
I'm a WCW kid. I grew up on Sting.
yeah, I did
You're
not
a
get an
WWF
opportunity.
kid. You grew up on the
I
WWE.
am. I am absolutely
Mhm.
WWF. I started, gosh, I probably started paying attention right around that ruthless aggression
Right,
era.
right. I
I got
started
the
in
tail,
97, 98.
yeah, I got the tail
Yeah.
end of the
Mhm.
attitude era.
Yeah.
And then I got into the whole ruthless
Yeah.
aggression
I mean,
era.
the last thing they
Um,
need to do is bring back Goldberg or Angle or, one of those guys. Jericho doesn't need the match. I would love to see Jericho and Sting go at least once, one on one. This never
right.
really happened. I would love to see Sting and Darby against Edge and Christian. Sting and Darby against the Hardys. I mean,
That would be a good one.
they've
Yeah.
got dream matches they can do, But that last match, for what it needs to be special, and whoever ends up beating Sting and going over in the match, it needs to mean something. When Brock beat Undertaker, it meant something, and they strapped the rocket ship to Brock. You know, it's similar. You know, it's got to be special. It's got to be somebody that is going to help their career. It's going to
Right.
mean something for them, and it's going to take that person to the next level. You know, which I don't think Jarrett is the right person for it, but I think it would make sense because Jarrett is somebody from his WCW days that can still wrestle, can still go. But I think MJF is probably the most logical one. If it's somebody from his past, I would say Samoa Joe because Joe can still go and he's
That's
on
what
fire.
I think out of all the names you mentioned,
Yeah.
I definitely think I would like to see, Samoa Joe
Mhm.
kind of be that person. I get where you're coming from with MJF, but man, with everything AEW's been doing with MJF here recently, I feel like that poor kid's already got a rocket strapped to his back.
He
He's
absolutely
already,
does.
carrying the company. And I mean, like you were saying, I mean, come January, come the new year, we may not even have MJF because, like you said,
I I'm
his
going to agree with
contract
Bully Ray.
expires.
I think MJF is already re-signed for a multi-year. I really do. I think that's story. I think that's a work.
Well,
I don't it dude, Cody leaving fucking killed AEW because I think Cody was the glue holding everything together backstage. None of this shit was going on before Cody left.
right.
It hurt. Jade leaving hurt the women's division. Cody leaving hurt the backstage. MJF leaves, they're fucked.
It could definitely
Who
spell.
who fills that role? Punk leaving the first time and then getting fired. Danielson stepped in, filled that role immediately. No one batted an eye. No one's talking about it anymore.
Nope.
MJF leaves, they will not recover.
No.
They won't. They won't. He's your top. He's your guy.
Yeah.
You know, especially with Omega not wrestling full time right now. Like, there's nobody can fill that. You know, they won't. If he leaves, it'll kill AEW. It'll be a slow death. They will not recover. They just won't. You know, it's like when all those guys left WCW: Benoit, Eddie, Saturn, Malenko, Jericho, Big Show. That stretch of all those guys leaving WCW slowly fucking killed that place.
Yep.
I mean,
Well,
there's a
we'll
lot of
have to wait and
factors,
see.
but I mean, I think that's who the match is.
Yeah. I think we'll talk more about this as the months
Mm-hmm.
slowly tick away. Like I said, we're going into our December, our Burr months, and
Yeah,
like I said,
not
right
far
now,
away.
and huh?
Full gear's not far off. We obviously
Exactly.
officially have
Full
Jay
gears
White,
right.
MJF for the world title.
Yep.
Also, we'll have Christian Cage, Nick Wayne, and Luchasaurus versus Sting, Darby, and who the fuck knows?
Exactly.
It could be
Who
anyone.
knows? I know he was talking to Edge.
I That wouldn't
He
surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me if that's who it is for the third man. Edge is the third
Edge
man.
does, in my opinion, Edge does need to get his head out of his booty and do something.
He's
He's
wrestled a
been.
few times.
I'm just saying he's got to pick a direct. Like, I'm sorry, as much as I'd love to see Edge and Christian reunite, clearly Christian's got his own agenda, being a giant butthead like he is.
He
Edge need
has his
Edge.
word. Hey, Christian is just trying to be the father that all of these wrestlers need.
Yeah, he ain't my wrestling daddy.